Welcome to UK Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host, Yukai Kachidori.
Hello, it's Yokai Kajidori here, and on behalf of my business partner, Trevor Stockwell, and the amazing team here at World Outsourcing Solutions, want to welcome you to this special episode of Enlightened Entrepreneur. You can find us at worldoutsourcingsolutions.com, where we specialize in providing business owners from all walks of life with highly trained, highly skilled virtual assistants. We are the go-to center of all your outsourcing needs based here in the United Kingdom. Hi, everyone, and welcome to World Outsourcing Solutions. Today's interview is sponsored by World Outsourcing Solutions, where we help business owners with all your outsourcing needs and many other topics related to business. The title of our interview today is Your Money Mindset Roadmap. My name is Yokai Kajidori, and today I'm talking with money mindset expert Snowe Saxman about the main steps every business owner, or anyone for that matter, needs to take or follow in order to succeed in their business. Welcome to the call, Snowe.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
It's incredible that you can join us. Now, Snowe Saxman is a well-known expert when it comes to money mindset, and has graciously consented to do this interview to share with us the roadmap in which you must take in order for you to succeed. Once again, thank you for being here with us. To get us started, Snowe, talk to us about your background and how you got started, maybe in education or professionally.
Great. Yes, of course. So I graduated from college with a degree in accounting. I wanted to become the chief financial officer for a big corporation and run the company from the managerial side of accounting, to look at the financial statements and look for opportunities for growth. And after college, I moved to Florida and I got my first job at Walt Disney World as an accountant. And it was super exciting. It kind of seemed like, everything was laying into place. The future seemed bright. But
Yes.
within a few months, I was just started to realize that working for someone else was just not for me, because I wanted to be able to control my time and money. And I knew I was never going to do that. And so after about 9 months, I got my first raise, and it was $1 an hour. And I thought, I cannot do this for 40-some years. Like, my life just flashed before my eyes, and I thought, that's it. I can't do this. And so I quit. At age 23, I enrolled in graduate school to get my master's in business, and I started my first business doing consulting for other small businesses, helping with money management, taxes, setting up their businesses, and getting started. And
Yes.
so that was how I got my start 17 years ago. And one of my first clients was my husband. He was starting his first business, and we through one of my other clients, started a construction real estate company, and we built it to be multiple $1 million. So by age 25, I was a millionaire. And I was looking for something, though. Something was missing for me, because money and finance and business, even though I have this very strong gift, there was something I felt was missing. And I ended up buying a salon because I like I thought I just wanted another kind of project, but really it was the underlying desire to help women. And so I thought, I could, it'd be great. I can help them feel better about themselves. Well, that failed miserably. And so I ended up, right after the salon, I ended up buying a ladies fitness franchise. Again, that idea of helping women in some way. And that became an instant failure. The previous owners had run it into the ground so much. And so I was in my second failing retail business. The economy here in the US was starting to take a dive. And I knew, because of my background, what was going to happen. We lived in Orlando, Florida. So the bubble was obviously very big here. And I just knew what was going to happen. So I was looking for something that was recession proof. And that was why I liked the idea of the ladies fitness gym, but I was losing a couple $1,000s a month. My resources were draining. I had no idea what I was going to do. And the buzz in the other franchise owners was that they were selling makeup and skincare out of their gyms, and they were making more money doing that than they were with their actual memberships. And so I started looking into this. And I remember learning in business school that when you started a business, there were 3 things they said to look for: low ticket, consumable, and recession proof. And that's what makeup was. And so I decided I researched all the big companies, and I decided to go with Mary Kay. And I came into Mary Kay and I became a success super fast. I became a sales director in 6 months, earned my first
Beautiful.
free car. I felt like I came home because this company was all about empowering women. And I like large groups of people. I do well in crowds. I'm a speaker. So to me, it's this huge company, big events. I mean, I could teach women business. I could teach finances. So I literally thought, this is it. Like, I have found, heaven. Like, this is
That's why this is where I'm called.
right, right. And so I loved it. And then within about a year, I hit a brick wall, and
Right.
I began a roller coaster in my business. And God was very clear to me. He spoke very clear to me about my future in Mary Kay, and before the roller coaster started to happen. And so I knew that I was supposed to stay. So I didn't quit, but I went back to doing what I knew I could create money, because by this time, the construction real estate was completely, just dead here in Florida. And so so I began to go back to consulting again, because I knew I could make money preparing taxes and small business consulting, because I had done that for so long. And so I began to do that and create the same type of little income, but I hit a brick wall again. And so we were on a roller coaster ride for probably 3 or 4 years, and we were staying strong in our faith. We trusted God. We gave when we didn't have any money. And finally, after a few years, one day, like, I had just had enough, because I knew that this was not God's best. I knew that He did not desire for His children to live in poverty. We literally had to file bankruptcy. We were on food stamps. We literally lost everything. Like, we
Incredible.
sold we sold so much stuff. Like, we literally were down to like just our clothes, and God took care of us. He always took care of us, because that's what He promises to do. But I'd had enough. And so one day I just literally threw myself on the ground, and I said, God, I don't know what you're waiting for. I know what your word says. We've been faithful. We've given when we haven't even had the money. We've given our time. And I
Right.
said, I know what you've told me. Like, I said, what are you waiting on to bless me? And an audible voice in my ears, this is only the second time I've heard Him literally speak like a person standing behind me. He said, Snow, you are not waiting on me. I am waiting on you.
Wow.
And I literally turned my head and I went, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, we at that point in our journey, we had helped to start a new church. So we were, Bible studies every week, church planting, leadership. If anyone would have thought that, you were doing what God was telling you to do, or living what the word says, it would have been us. And so I was in total
Wow.
shock, and I began to ask Him, okay, so what are you telling me? He began to show me how I had a lack mentality, and how I was stuck in my own limited thinking, and I was fearful, and every way I handled money was fear-based, and I wasn't trusting Him like I really said, because I was constantly worried about where the next money was going to come from. I didn't want to pay bills because I was afraid that no more money would come. And so He began to reveal this to me, and I began a journey of understanding the part that I played and the limiting beliefs that were an autopilot in my brain. And I had already studied neuroscience quite a bit because of the traumatic childhood I had. And so I knew about post-traumatic stress. But what most people don't realize is that literally a situation that is not, as traumatic as a violent crime or a war can cause the same reaction in the brain. And so people are on these autopilots and being triggered and reacting to things that they don't even realize are happening, because they're being conditioned, which is why God tells us to guard our heart and guard our ears, to watch your inner circle. Because if you don't program your mind daily and condition it with the truth, then something else is going to, because your brain is constantly processing information, even when you're sleeping. And so this is what God took me to, this new point. And so I walked through my own journey of improving my money mindset. And then once I got out of that situation where I was in that, like survival mode, I began to realize that, wow, like this is a passion of mine, and this is something I really wanted to set people and women free from. And so my mission has always been to empower women to live emotionally, spiritually, and financially free. And so through my own journey, I realized how they were all connected. And so that's what makes me an expert in my background and how I got to where I am today.
Incredible. I love the story, that you became a millionaire by the age of 25. You started at a very young age. You lost everything at the age of 35. You lost everything, and you've got that back now, just a few years after you'd lost it. And through just a change in mindset. I hope, our listeners can learn a great deal from what you're about to share, the necessary steps that one has to take. To
Yeah.
their mindset. Now let's jump into it. What did you do to change your mindset once you had realized what was holding you back from getting ahead when it comes to money?
Right. Okay. So when God began to reveal to me my limiting beliefs, He put coaches in my path. So I went through a group coaching program, which was based on neuroscience, which I love because I had already studied the brain so much. And so I went through this 3-month group coaching program, and then I did a one-on-one private coaching program because for me, because of the years of abuse that I had experienced as a child, my brain literally went into disconnecting the body from the brain, which is what the brain will do. The brain's number one job is to protect you. And so during severe trauma, most people don't remember a lot of it because the brain has shut it off so you don't feel the pain. Well, because the abuse for me was so long and it went on for 15 years during my entire childhood, my brain literally disconnected the body from the spirit. And so for me, I had to then walk through this additional piece and healing of reconnecting the body to the spirit. And so I went on a journey for probably 3 years of first the mindset, then reconnecting, and then completely releasing the trauma from my body because, sorry, your excuse me, your body also holds trauma. So the brain will literally like hold the trauma in the body, and then when it wants to, or when you're ready, it will actually release it. And so I went on a 3-year journey of really this mindset and understanding how the brain really works and how it's connected to your body. People don't realize that a lot of what they're experiencing in their body is really coming from their brain, because their brain is part of the nervous system, and the nervous system was what goes throughout the body. And so the brain is way more powerful than we even understand, even than what neuroscience is proving today. It's just way more powerful. So that's, what the training I went through and what I did to learn what I know today.
Incredible. I love the fact that you identified that. It's beautiful for our listeners here. You got around coaches, you got around to people who could help you with that. And I love how you bring the spiritual aspect and this physical world or physical being we have, our bodies, how you bring that together and figure out how that has helped you to move from being, close to bankruptcy to actually earning a 7-figure income in a very short space of time. Why is this step so necessary in the beginning?
Well, because we are, like you said, a spiritual being that's living inside of a physical body, and so they are connected. And then the brain is this other piece. That's why for me, it's always been emotionally, spiritually, and then financially. Everything is connected. I share in my book that just got released. If you grow yourself, you'll grow your finances or you'll grow your business, because everything is connected. Your emotional growth, your spiritual growth, and those things affect your body because we're living in a physical body. God has given us a physical body to experience this world, but there are natural laws that go into place. Like there's physical laws. There's ways your body works. There's ways your brain works, just like there's spiritual laws, and it's all connected. And in order to really maximize your life and to live the life God intended, you have to understand them and understand it's all working together for you to really be able to really have a successful journey.
Incredible. And maybe one of our listeners is listening and they're thinking, okay, bring it down. How can I go from where I am? My mindset is totally out. It's not one that attracts money. What can I do today to move towards that?
That's a great question, and something that people ask me all the time, and it's actually so simple. It just takes a daily commitment. But what we do is, and what the tendency to do, and then because of the way the brain is wired, what you focus on is what you're going to get more of. And I'm sure people have heard this time and time again, but every time I say what to do, the light bulb goes off. What you do is you focus on what you want instead of what you don't have. So for most
Beautiful.
people who are stuck in a lack mentality, they're focused on the negative bank account. They're focused on they don't have money. They're focused on all the debt. What you need to focus on is, oh, how can I create more money? Like, what can I do? I can't change the bank account right now. I can't change the fact that, I have $50,000 in debt. But what I can do is change what I'm looking at. And the way the brain is wired is it will give you an answer for anything that you say. So when people say things like, my gosh, this always happens to me. Why does this always happen to me? The brain literally goes, oh, well, it always happens because you're not good with money, or this always happens because, X, Y, and Z happens. So instead, what you have to do is say, okay, how can I create more money? And the brain will start giving you ideas. And if you're connected to God, he will also start downloading. But because you live in this physical body with a brain, if you don't ask the right questions, you're going to get results that you don't even want. And so that's the most powerful thing. Focus on what you want, not what you don't have, and ask yourself better questions and you'll get better results.
I love that. Absolutely. Focus on what you want, not what you don't like. Now, to aid that process of focusing on what you want, are there any tools or website or anything that they can use in preparing themselves to focus on what they want?
Yeah, great question. So I actually have a free money mindset challenge that I have worked through these tools for everyone. So they can visit my website, snowsaxman.com, and they'll see a beautiful blue box, and it will say register here for your divine business gift bundle. And that's
Beautiful.
that's part of the mindset challenge. And so it's 12 days of literally all the tips and tools they need to be able to walk through this process of really becoming aware of what they're actually thinking, because so many of us are just on autopilot. We're not thinking about what we're thinking about. We're just going on past programming. We're just going on what was, even told to us yesterday. This is why it's so important to renew your mind daily. What I always teach and what people know me for saying so much is I work on myself and I connect with God first before I ever work on my business or anything else, because that's how important it is. If you don't condition your mind every single day, everything else is going to condition it for you. And so that's what the money mindset challenge is all about, is really helping you become aware of those things so that you can and get some practical tools so that you can start to change it. And it's 12 days. It's completely free. And it's life changing. Like women, they're constantly telling me how it's changing their life. And it's just something I've created that's free to help get that ball going.
Incredible. Can we have that link again so
Oh,
that
yes.
our listeners can take a note of that, please?
Yes, it is snowsaxman.com.
Incredible. And imagine, let's assume that somebody, have been doing so well to a certain point, maybe for 3 months, and all of a sudden they get stuck. How can they get unstuck, so to speak?
Right. So they're just going to go back to the same principles and techniques. Like I said, what's people used to say years ago, and I'm sure you heard this, it takes 21 days to form a habit. Well, they've actually proven that that's not necessarily true. You can start seeing results immediately. I mean, literally immediately. The first day or two that you begin to use these techniques and you start focusing on what you want and starting to really condition your mind, you will start to see results. But because of the neural pathways in the brain, you've got to keep doing it every single day. And for some people, it could be 90, 120, or even 180 days, but no one's exactly sure because it's science and, it's just not something that we can exactly say. But if you stop for just one day, you will go right back into old programming, because the neural pathways in your brain are literally these little neurons that are firing. And the longer you hold a thought or an image, the stronger these firing neurons become until they literally solidify like concrete. And then the the longer you keep doing it and doing it and doing it, it's like putting concrete over concrete over concrete over concrete until it becomes this set point that you're on autopilot and you have no idea you're even thinking you're doing something. And so you have to reprogram and recondition it. And so it could have taken someone years to get to the place they are today. And so that's why it's not going to happen and change overnight. However, when you change the programming, you will start to see results. So if you start doing it really well for 3 months, and then what happens to a lot of people is they see results and they think, oh, well, I'm good. I don't need to condition my mind every day anymore because things are changing. Well, the programming might not actually be as strong yet as the previous one, especially if you went through any type of trauma, financially, a car accident, any type of abuse, anything like that. Those neuron, and because the way the brain is, that would take even longer possibly. And so it's just important to go right back into that daily conditioning of the mind and using the techniques to really think about what you're thinking about and focus on what you want, not what you don't have, until you get to a place where you literally, like for me, it was after about 6 months, I realized I don't think I've thought that negative thought recently. And then about a year later, I made the conscious thought, and I have not thought that in 6 months. But then after a little while, you'll get to maybe something else that needs changing. So,
Yes.
it could be a spiritual thing. It could be a relationship. It could be the way you look at your body. Like there's so many different pieces of your mindset. But the monetary one is what most people struggle with, and it really does affect all the other areas as well. So that's what you just go right back into those same techniques and tools, and you can use that for any level. So when I first went through this, when I was, literally on food stamps and not, being able to support my family at all. And I went through the coaching, I went through the programs, and I learned these things myself. I was able to use the same principles a few years later when I saw myself getting stuck again at something, and I was able to shift super fast because I already had been through the process. So that's a great thing about it. It's just like learning a new, breathing technique or learning any new thing. You can reuse it again once you see yourself, starting to think or do something that you're not happy with.
Incredible. I had someone said, how you do anything is how you do everything. I think it was at a Millionaire Mind Intensive that I went for, by T. Half Acre. It's so true in what you're saying. If you can learn how to get unstuck in one area, be it finances or in your health, you can, do the same thing in another area of your life.
Exactly.
And I like that, that you were able to share these things with us. Let's move on to the second biggest step that you took, in changing your mind, other than you've shared with us, because that was the way you've changed from being a multi-millionaire, getting close to bankruptcy, and moving on into a second-figure income again. Certainly, the other steps that you took. What other big step you took to get where you are?
Right. So the other biggest step is the daily commitment. Like I just cannot stress this enough. The brain is going to be conditioned whether you do it or whether you allow outside influences. And the brain is processing information at such a high rate that we really can't even understand it right now. Like I said, even when you're sleeping, you're processing information. And so in the beginning, when I was really stuck, in a place, where we were broke, had to file bankruptcy and literally had no income, our mentality obviously was, very, very different than it is today. And so we were working on our programming all the time. And the 30 minutes before you go to sleep at night and the 30 minutes when you get up in the morning is the time when the brain waves are much lower, because obviously you're about to go to sleep and then obviously you're just waking up. And so during that time, because the brain waves are lower, you're more like calmer, connected to your spirit and soul, connected to God, and the brain is literally able to receive information and get it down deep in your subconscious a lot easier, because there's not all of these other distractions. So this is why a lot of people get ideas when they're going to sleep, or they wake up in the morning and they get ideas, or a lot of people maybe who are somewhat anxious or stressful, when they're going to sleep, they feel good. When they first wake up, they feel okay until they really really get started in their day. It's because the brain is just not processing information at the high rate that it's normally doing it. And so what you read in those 30 minutes before you go to sleep and what you do first thing in the morning really are strong programming things and tools for you to be able to use. So like when I was going to sleep, I still really do this today, unless I'm just super tired. I will listen to a pastor's message or listen to something positive. It's the thing that I'm doing when I'm going to sleep. I have earbuds in because you can reprogram. And so that daily commitment and really guarding what you are listening to and watching and reading before you're going to sleep, and then first thing in the morning doing the same thing.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then, other than that, because of our time here, I really want to focus on your book, which you just released. But before we jump onto that, is there a perfect mindset a business owner could have or should have in order to succeed in today's economy?
Yes. This is great question. I love this question. The mindset needs to be one of abundance. What I find, especially with women entrepreneurs, which is where my niche is that there is a lack mentality. They question whether there's enough money in the world for them to create what they want. They question how are they going to pay all of their business bills. And when it comes to a business, I tell women, if God created you to be a business owner, which I believe he created a lot more people to be one than most people realize, he's going to provide for everything you need to build a business. And so a lot of women will be afraid to invest in marketing, be afraid to invest in a coach, be afraid to invest in hiring a team to start supporting them, even if you start off on a part-time team. And the truth is that like God knows you need these things to build your business. And we as business owners should not be doing anything that isn't our gift. Like the way that you build a big organization, a 7-figure, 8-figure organization, is by focusing on what you do best and building a support team around you. I think it was Henry Ford that said he's not the smartest man in the world, but he knew how to hire the smartest people for what their specific task was to help him, create the empire he did. And so really having that abundant mentality and learning how to delegate and build an organization that can support your gifting so you can focus on what you do best is the way that you're going to grow. And so I think those are two of the biggest things when it comes to mindset that business owners can implement in their business.
Incredible. Really, thank you for that. Let's talk about your book that you have just released, and I'm looking forward to actually reading it myself in a few weeks' time. Talk to us about that.
Thank you so much. It just got released on Amazon, so you can find it on Amazon.com, and it's called Bankrupt to Six Figures. And it is my emotional, spiritual, and financial journey of transformation. And so I share how I was a millionaire at age 25. Then I was bankrupt, literally had to file bankruptcy at 35. And then how I was able to build back to multiple six figures. And I share, with God's help, how I've been able to channel a painful past into a purposeful future and help other women with my unique gifts and talents. And it's really about inspiring you through my own story of trauma and brokenness and all the things that I went through and how that affected me in my business. Because like I said earlier, your emotional, spiritual, and financial growth are all related. And the book is designed to help you with my journey so that you can create the life and the abundance that God has for you. But it's not just about making more money, because for me, it really is about helping more people and for people to step into their God-given purpose. And so that's also a focus of the book, is really helping you so you can step into your God-given purpose and live the life that God designed.
Incredible. And people can find it today on Amazon.
Yes, it is on Amazon.com, and it's a short read, so it's meant to be an easy read, but it is packed full. I mean, it is literally packed full. There's no fluff. I mean, it is all, inspiration, journey. There's business and life points throughout it that I share as well. And so, awesome. I mean, it is an easy read, but I mean, is another life-changing easy read, but packed full of just amazing stuff.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And earlier on, when we were talking off air, you were mentioning to me about one passion of yours, which really, you're doing well in it, in your success in your business, and you're making contribution towards that. Would you share us with our audience about your passion?
Yes, of course. So my mission is to empower women to live emotionally, spiritually, and financially free. And I'm fully committed to giving back. And so I give probably about 20% of my gross income to missions, to homeless, to ministries, to nonprofit organizations, to sex trafficking, to fighting violence against women. And then I just formed my first nonprofit, and it is to help raise awareness of and fight violence, sexual violence against women. And so I'm fully committed to giving back. I'm actually also hosting my first live event here in Orlando, Florida in March, and 30% of my ticket sales will be going to sex trafficking, domestic violence, and then fighting sexual violence against women. And that event is also going to be available via live stream as well. So you can find the information on my website as well, snowsaxman.com. So I am fully committed to not only helping women who are business owners, but I'm fully committed to giving back and empowering women at whatever level that they are at in their life, whether they are just coming out of a trauma and they need that type of support, or they're past that and they want to really build a business and life that God designed.
Amazing. Snow, you're doing such a great job. And let's talk about the importance of giving, in the life of a business owner or anyone for that matter.
Yes, so giving is huge for me. If you do believe in God, which I do, it's a principle, and He promises all types of things to us when we give, and He promises we can't outgive Him. And but even if you don't believe in God, it's a principle that exists in the world. There are plenty of people who do not believe in God, but they give, and they see the return. So it is a principle. It's a fact that exists. The more that you give and send into this world, the more that will come back to you. And as a business owner, I choose to operate that way from the business, not just personally, because I know some people will just give from the profit they make. However, that's not the way that I see it. And so I personally like to give from the gross of my income. And the more, it's so true, the more that I give, it always comes back to me. And it doesn't always come back in the exact manner that you think, but when I live that life of giving and not any type of fear-based, because a lot of people, when they don't want to give, it's really fear-based. And so that fear is actually an emotion, and emotions are energy in motion, which means that whatever you're sending out, like whatever emotion you're feeling, is actually sending an energy out. And science has proven this, that there's actually energy, and so basically power behind it. So if you hold on to your money from this fear-based place, you're sending negative energy out into the world, and so it can block you from receiving. And when I was walking through my own money mindset journey with God, and that's what I did. I held on to money so tight. My hands were closed, and God gave me the visual of me closing my hands so I was not able to receive more. But every time I released money and my hands were open, I released it and I could receive more back because my hands were open. And so that's the way that I choose to operate my business, and I think that everyone should.
Amazing. I know firsthand, the experience of giving, because here at World Outsourcing Solutions, in fact, when we started a few years ago, I made a commitment of, looking after the children from the country where I outsource most of my work. And today we are responsible for 40 children that we send to school and do all all sort of things. And I have seen an amazing return on that, not only in sense of I feel good about what I'm doing, and I'm like yourself, I have a faith. I'm abiding with my faith, and I just want to give. In business sense, it has created an incredible loyalty. Even my clients ask me, how do you manage a team virtually? And you are here in London, and you have an amazing team. How do you do that? And I can honestly say, giving and partnering with a charity was one of the most viable or sensible business commitment I ever did, because it created this ripple effect. and I totally agree with what Snow is talking about here. So thank you for sharing those principles. Just to come to, as we're coming to an end of our time together, is there anything about money that I did not ask you today, which you think our listener will benefit or would, should know if they're going to succeed in terms of money?
Yes, this is actually something that was very powerful for me when I first understand this concept. Money is actually not even, and I say this in quotes, it's hard to say this, it's not even a real thing. Money is a man-made thing. And so a lot of people have this fixation on money, and it's actually something that man came up with. The truth is that money is just a form of exchange. And so a lot of people have this wrong mindset around money, and they focus on money. But if they just focused on exchanging their unique gifts and talents and bringing them to the world, someone who has money will pay for the value that you bring. And so money is not really the goal. The goal is understand your unique gifts and talents, do what God's created you here to do, release that into the world, and everything you need is going to come right back to you. It's not about money. It's really not about money. It's about doing what you're purposed to do and exchanging what you have, and then people will give something back to you in the form of money. But that's just something we created here as man. Like money didn't exist, thousands of years ago. It was an exchange. We exchanged goods between each other. We exchange services, and that's the same thing that we need to focus on and realize today. And then you will have what you're supposed to have.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Snow, for great advice. And again, for a great interview. I'm sure all our business owners here in our community have a much clearer understanding of the steps by step they need to take to get started with their money mindset freedom. So they get more out of life. Just to finish up, tell us a bit more about your website and the benefit of that, so that they have somewhere to go to after the call.
Yes, awesome. So yes, you can find me again at Snowe, and that is Snowe with an E, Saxman.com. And you'll find on my website the free resources. At the bottom is a blue box, and it says sign up to get access to my free Divine Business Gift bundle. And it will also give you other business tools of how to build a six-figure plus business. You'll get the free money mindset challenge, and you'll also get my morning routine that I do every single day. And my website is designed. What I do is I teach women God-inspired financial plus business strategies. And so you'll find on my website information about creating more money, which includes the money mindset piece, how to manage your money, how to multiply your money. And then you'll also find the events, and you can connect with me as well. And if you're here in the United States or Canada, I am a very well-known tax expert. So you'll find a taxes page. You can learn more about how to get your billions back, because most people overpay their taxes here in the United States. The IRS reports we overpay by $945 billion. So we help people get their billions back.
Incredible.
And yes, and you can hear praises about me and learn about my events coming up, and even connect to my blog.
Wonderful. So again, thank you, Snow, for sharing with us. And again, thank you all for being with us here today. And I invite you to visit SnoweSaxman.com for more information. And also visit worldoutsourcingsolutions.com for more information on how you can succeed with the aid of outsourcers. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you for listening to UKAI Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.ukaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18, or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.